Creepers! How the heck are you crazy creeps? Yeah, it's a pretty nice day, and I hope you guys are doing well. As always, I appreciate you guys tuning in and creeping with. We are right here in Gresham in front of the Wonderland. That's right, the Electric Castle Wonderland that's been a heart and staple here in Portland for many years. We actually did a tour at the Southeast location a couple years back. And in the 80s, these were the places you basically had to go to play the video games. Now, when I was growing up, we were spoiled because Nintendo came out, all the home advanced video game systems now. But back in the day, you actually had to go to the arcade to play the games, which got me going down the rabbit hole of kind of weird, creepy Portland stuff connected to the arcades. And today is definitely a good one. You're not going to miss it. If you guys are familiar with the game POLYBIUS, I think I'm pronouncing it correctly, and you're not going to want to miss this one. A really weird, interesting story that all started right here in Portland, Oregon. And the arcades around here were definitely the place to be. Stay tuned. We're doing a little creepy arcade 80s history. You're not going to want to miss this one. So like I said, in the 80s, you had to basically go to the arcades to enjoy the games, which I did many of times. And there was a particular game that was kind of introduced, apparently, like I said, this is all kind of maybe hearsay, non-actual documented. Well, some of this stuff is documented, but mostly mythical kind of a story. But either way, it is very interesting. So the game POLYBIUS was apparently introduced here in Portland, Oregon at a few locations. Some say was introduced originally as a government style training tool. I know, sounds weird. To see who was, you know, the best at the games, mostly the combat games. And in the 80s, there were reports all over Portland of people that had played this particular game and felt the effects, either from fainting completely from playing it, or actually having people with black suits and ties come to them in the arcade and whisk them out of there and take them to places that they don't recall, other than waking up later and realizing that they were somewhat affected by this game. And like I said, a lot of the stories that I read are, you know, hearsay, but some actually are documented, including one in 1984 at the Malibu Grand Prix. There was a kid that was trying to beat one of the high scores on a different game and actually felt some effects from that game as well. And then a lot of folks also thought that maybe the machines were being controlled by the government to see if folks were actually setting up gambling rings around the machines, setting high scores and then paying to see who could break them. And if I remember, definitely going to the Lloyd Center arcade many of times as a kid and seeing long lines for certain games where, you know, it was probably championships, you know, tournaments, however you want to call it, where if you didn't lose your quarter, you were next, you know, you were constantly being able to play. So definitely interesting. I'm going to head into Wonderland now. I'm not sure if they're even open. We'll see if we can get a little B-roll footage, and I'll tell you guys more about the really creepy POLYBIUS game that were eventually taken out of the arcades kind of secretly in one moment and out the next. Yeah, as I was kind of going down the rabbit hole too, I'm actually finding these real documented pictures. This one looks like November 27th of 81 at the Malibu Grand Prix location, I believe here in Beaverton, Oregon. And that's the kid right there, Brian Mauro, M-A-U-R-O, trying to beat the high score. He actually fainted and never did accomplish his goal. I think he played for, I think it was like 11 or 12 hours, or 11, what was it? 10 hours a day for like 11 hours, 11 days in a row. And it actually ended up, I think he actually ended up having a seizure. So the games were known to cause problems, you know, long-term playing them. Like I said, this wasn't the same machine, but they were aware of the effects from the machines back then. Crazy. I'm not sure if they're even open. Knock, knock. I'm noticing like some vans. Are you guys open? Oh, you guys are closed? They're closed. Oh, that's too bad. I was gonna see if I might be able to just get some B-roll of the machines for my YouTube channel.
No.
Okay, no worries. Sorry to interrupt you.
No worries.
All right, have a good day, bud. All right, well, eventually they will be open, but it looks like they are still kind of getting the place open. I was gonna see if I could at least get some B-roll, but I wanted to tell you guys more about those machines as well, kind of the effects on folks. But it looks like they are going to be doing an entire arcade here, so that's cool. Yeah, I noticed last time we were by here that the sign wasn't even up, so yeah, it's a good sign. Yeah, it's big too. Yeah, that's too bad. Oh, it looks like they're gonna have like a full go-kart. So they got the full go-karts too. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, I was hoping to go in there and see if they had some of the old school machines. Maybe the POLYBIUS machine is still in there and that's why they didn't want us to come in yet. Yeah, definitely interesting when I went down the rabbit hole of information on that. It's kind of scary. And then there was also some tales that were a little outlandish where somebody said they were actually taken from one of the machines, or from one of the arcades when playing the machines, taken into like the Oregon or the Shanghai tunnels downtown Portland, and they kind of mixed in the whole Shanghai tunnel things with the arcade, which seemed a little far-fetched, but who knows. But eventually hopefully they're open soon. I'd love to go do the go-karts, and maybe we can get the high score on the POLYBIUS machine too. I'm laughing, but really I'm kind of scared. I'm wondering if I actually played that machine. But the people that did play it definitely said they didn't feel good after playing it. Some actually having really bad migraines and throwing up. One of the stories I read, the kid actually couldn't even make it like a block out of the arcade. As stated in the first article that I found, this was actually from another video game kind of link associated with the Nintendo Power magazine that actually kind of touched on that as well. But here it says, Hart is blamed in death of video game patron 18 died of a heart attack while playing in a video game in Clement City. Wow. So yeah, I guess the long-term effects they were aware of it, but they weren't too quite sure as to what was causing it at the time. But that was definitely interesting to see. Yeah, some of those stories that I read were actually kind of scary. People puking and having bad migraines. Interesting. Let me know if you guys remember, if you did go to the arcades, if you do remember that machine. Maybe you were whisked away by the men in black because you got top score and you were never to be seen again until you saw this video, and now all of a sudden you've got a story to tell in the comment section. That's gonna do it for today. If you guys are new here, make sure you hit that red subscribe button. You can ring that bell, that way when I creep, you guys will be the first to creep. And if you did enjoy this, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Till next time, creeper out for now. Peace.